All right. How to write a perfect climax is a huge promise, and I'm going to deliver on that promise in this video, but I'm going to need your full attention. My name is Tyler Mowery. If you don't know me, I've coached screenwriters on scripts they sold to Hollywood and worked with independent filmmakers around the world in places like Panama, Dubai, South Africa, and London. What you're about to watch is me distilling 5 years of screenwriting, coaching, course building, and essay writing into one single video. Whether you're trying to enter the traditional industry or charting your own path as an independent storyteller, this video is for you. A climax is a choice. A story follows the conflict of two worldviews or philosophies that battle each other through character choices. A scene shows characters in conflict over a choice. The dialogue in the scene is the argument about what choice to make.
Look, I don't want these people judging Olive. Fuck them.
Listen, it is too late.
No, it's not too late. You're the mom, and you're supposed to protect her.
The choice can also be decided through action, which makes the argument physical or violent. And a climax is simply the biggest story-defining choice that resolves the conflict between the characters and their worldviews. The Lord of the Rings is about a philosophical conflict between overwhelming evil versus underdog good. Little Miss Sunshine is about a philosophical conflict between public image versus private life. These two philosophies are made physical by characters who represent the two sides. Sauron represents overwhelming evil, Frodo and Aragorn represent the fight for good. Richard and Olive represent your value being in your public image, Grandpa and Cheryl represent your private life mattering most. In the climactic choice of The Lord of the Rings, Frodo must make the choice between destroying the Ring of Power, good wins, or keeping it for himself, evil wins. In the climactic choice of Little Miss Sunshine, Richard must make the choice between supporting his daughter, private life wins, or taking her off stage, public image wins. So to summarize, a story is about two worldviews in conflict, represented by characters who battle out this philosophical conflict by making important choices. This battle leads the characters to one single climactic choice that will define the entire story. One side will win, one side will lose. But to write a perfect climax, we must understand act structure. Number 2, strong final act equals strong climax. A climactic choice is only powerful with clear setup. So to write a great climax, we must start at the beginning of the final act. There are 8 key beats in an act. These 8 beats break down into around 12 to 20 scenes. Here's my act structure. Number 1, character status quo. Who and where are the important characters? Number 2, want established. What is the main character's goal? Number 3 is the inciting problem. What is the problem standing in the way of the main character's want? Number 4 is the debate and choice of commitment. What choice is made to solve the inciting problem? Number 5 is want achieved. How does the main character get their goal? Number 6 is surprise problem. What surprise problem destroys the main character's progress? Number 7 is the climactic choice. What immediate choice is made to solve the surprise problem? Number 8 is new character status quo. How is the story world changed after the climactic choice? This pattern can repeat in every single act of your screenplay, TV episode, stage play, or novel. It is not bound to a particular story medium. Like I said in the beginning, The Lord of the Rings deals with a philosophical conflict between overwhelming evil versus underdog good. So in this act, we are building up to one single defining choice that will decide which side wins, evil or good. 1 is the character status quo. Who and where are the important characters? Our main character, Frodo, and Sam are in Mordor. Aragorn, along with Gandalf and our other characters, are in Minas Tirith following a huge battle. In the opening of this act, we get this sequence of 3 scenes where Frodo wakes up in Mordor and the orcs kill each other over his clothes. Sam enters to save Frodo and defeats a few orcs. And when Sam frees Frodo, we get a reminder of the ring's power. Sam wants to keep the ring, and Frodo snatches it from him. This reunites Frodo and Sam, establishes them in Mordor, and reminds the audience of the power the ring has over the one who holds it. 2 is the character want established. What is the hero's big goal? Now that Sam has rescued Frodo, Frodo can continue pursuing his goal, get to Mount Doom so that he can destroy the evil ring of power. 3 is the inciting problem. What is the problem standing in the way of the hero's want? Frodo and Sam walk through Mordor and see a massive orc army in their way. This is the big problem of the act. How are they going to make it to the mountain?
Come on. Let's just make it down the hill for starters.
This scene establishes the inciting problem. Now the next scene begins the debate. 4 is the debate and choice of commitment. What choice is made to solve the inciting problem? Our supporting characters, Aragorn and the Council, now discuss what choice to make to solve Frodo's problem.
Because 10,000 orcs now stand between Frodo and Mount Doom.
And they make a choice. Aragorn and his army will march on the Black Gate to create a diversion for Frodo.
Keep him blind to all else that moves. A diversion.
Certainty of death? Small chance of success. What are we waiting for?
After this scene, we get a few shots of Aragorn and the army leaving for the Black Gate to solve the inciting problem. And Frodo and Sam see the orcs clear out of their way.
Look, the orcs. They're moving off.
The rest of this 4 marches us toward the choice of commitment. Pro tip: all of your slower setup scenes must come before the choice of commitment. This is the point in an act where you can have some lower conflict scenes and be more intimate with characters. And this is exactly what we see here. We get multiple scenes with Frodo and Sam and the difficulty of their trek across Mordor. Remember, in a climactic final act, once we get to the choice of commitment, you enter the climactic or payoff half of the act. So after the choice of commitment, there is no turning back. Now we get to scene 7. Aragorn and the army arrive at the Black Gate. Scene 7 in this act is super important. This scene will take us through the entire climactic half of the act. Remember, present conflict equals high drama. Present conflict makes the act interesting and fast-paced. If you have huge time jumps in your climax, it will be boring and lose its momentum. This scene intercuts with Frodo and Sam's journey. Frodo drinks the last of their water, the Eye sees Frodo, Aragorn calls for Sauron to open the gates, and Aragorn gives a speech to his soldiers after they see the massive orc army.
A day may come when the courage of men fails, when we forsake our friends and break all bonds of fellowship. But it is not this day.
Now we're finally at the choice of commitment. This choice signals the end of the 4, where Aragorn chooses to attack Sauron's army.
For Frodo.
So now the act set up Frodo and Sam in Mordor, set up Frodo's want to destroy the ring, set up the massive army blocking their path, and set up Aragorn's choice of commitment to solve Frodo's problem. Notice how the stakes have also been set up. If Frodo can't destroy the ring in time, Aragorn and all of his allies will die. The arrow has been drawn back. Everything is set to pay off. 5 is the want achieved. How do the characters get their goal? Frodo and Sam make it to Mount Doom, but Gollum attacks. Sam fights Gollum off while Frodo enters the mountain. This is the 5. Big want achieved. Huge victory. And as we get this victory, we also get a turn for good in the battle. The Eagles come to fight against the Nazgul. This is the payoff of the 2, where we saw Frodo's want out there in the distance, and now we're here. Notice that Frodo hasn't yet destroyed the ring, but he has arrived at his goal. He is in the physical location where he will make the all-important final choice. Now the 6, surprise problem, and the 7, climactic choice, will happen in the same scene together as one single movement of drama. 6 is the surprise problem. What surprise problem destroys the character's progress? Now that we're inside Mount Doom, the rest of this is supposed to be easy.
I'm here, Sam.
Frodo simply walks to the edge, throws the Ring of Power in, evil is defeated, and we all go home. Simple enough, right?
Destroy it!
This is why the 6 is a surprise. If the hero expects the 6, it doesn't make sense. Frodo has traveled all this way, and finally the ring is above the fires of Mount Doom.
Throw it in the fire!
But the ring speaks to him. There are 3 characters in the scene right now. Sam tells Frodo to destroy the ring. The ring tells Frodo to keep it. It's Frodo's choice. Everything comes down to this debate. We don't even have to understand the language of the ring to know what it is telling Frodo to do. And Frodo makes the wrong choice.
The ring is mine.
Everything shifts toward evil winning. The eye turns toward the mountain entrance. The Nazgul fly to the ring. Gandalf senses something is wrong. Gollum is back and knocks Sam out. The troll emerges to kill Aragorn. Gollum bites Frodo's finger off. The troll shoves Aragorn to the ground. Evil keeps winning. Every moment stacks the deck against good again and again and again. Seven is the climactic choice. What immediate choice is made to solve the surprise problem? As Gollum jumps for joy, Frodo gets up and fights Gollum on the edge for the ring. This is the highest moment of drama. Climactic choice made. Frodo shoves Gollum off the cliff. The ring falls with Gollum, and Frodo is able to hang on. And as Frodo grabs Sam's hand, the Ring of Power is dissolved into the lava. Now everything shifts toward good winning. The Eye of Sauron feels the pain. The troll fighting Aragorn runs away. The tower falls. Good has conquered evil. Even though it wasn't perfect, Frodo is able to finish the job and destroy the Ring of Power, paying off Aragorn and the army's commitment at the fore to fight for Frodo. What I love about this climax is that Frodo makes the wrong choice, and Gollum becomes necessary for good to win the day. The Lord of the Rings is a huge, epic story where many characters, even one as treacherous as Gollum, have an important part to play in God's plan for good to prevail. 8 is the change. New character status quo. How has the world changed now that the climactic choice has been made? We see Aragorn officially become King of Gondor, Sam marries Rose, and Frodo sails away to the Undying Lands. All of these scenes make up the new character status quo. Now the characters are in a very different place than when they started the act in the one. Good has now conquered over evil. Peace dominates Middle-earth once again. There's a ton of scenes in the epilogue because this is the third film in an epic trilogy, but we aren't making an epilogue, we're understanding a climax. I love the ending to The Lord of the Rings. It's huge, epic, and life or death stakes. But the stakes don't have to be life or death to be high stakes.
I'd like to dedicate this to my grandpa, who showed me these moves.
Let's break down the third act of Little Miss Sunshine. In Little Miss Sunshine, the film deals with the philosophical conflict between your public image of being a winner or loser versus supporting the important people in your private life. So in this act, we're building up to one single defining choice that will decide which side wins, public image or private life. One is the character status quo. The third act starts as the family has finally arrived at the Little Miss Sunshine beauty pageant. This has been their goal for the entire film, and they have finally made it. Two is the character want established. Now that they've arrived, we establish the want. Olive wants to compete in the pageant. Richard has some trouble with the pageant official, but he shows his desperation and is able to get Olive registered.
Please. You don't know what we've been through.
Now the act takes a breath here. Remember, the setup part of an act is the time to have smaller scenes that set up new characters, tie up loose ends, and develop character relationships. In scene 2, the film sets up Miss California, a new character who is on the judges panel for the pageant.
Miss California, do you eat ice cream?
I love ice cream. My favorite flavor is chocolate cherry Garcia, although technically I think that's a frozen yogurt.
We get a few quick scenes here. Richard asks the DJ if there's a funeral home around. Olive goes into the dressing room to put her costume on. Frank and Dwayne choose to leave the pageant, and Olive gives the DJ her music. And the final scene of this opening 1-2, Richard gives Grandpa's body to the funeral home. This is an important setup. Grandpa is the mentor for the viewpoint of private life in the film. He believed winning and losing wasn't as important as having fun and forgetting about what everyone else thought. He was the symbol of private life dominating your public perception. Through dealing with his father's body, Richard is reminded of his father's worldview. There's 7 scenes in these first 2 beats, so let me recap. In this opening of Act 3, we set up a few new characters, the pageant official, the DJ, and Miss California. We also show a closer relationship developing between Dwayne and Frank, and Richard is reminded of his father's philosophical viewpoint from the grave. While this is a lower conflict portion of the act, every single scene in this opening setup is moving the story forward. 3 is the inciting problem. After watching the other girls perform, Richard and Dwayne realize there's no way Olive is winning the competition. Richard watches the opening of the pageant. He realizes Olive is clearly out of place and isn't going to win. At the docks, Dwayne arcs. After his realization that he can't be an Air Force pilot, he decides he doesn't care about what others think. Frank arcs as well. He spent the entire story caring about his relationship and caring about being the #1 Proust scholar, and now we see his change. Richard watches the talent competition section of the pageant and is weirded out by what he sees. Dwayne and Frank return and can't stand it at all. This scene solidifies the inciting problem. Olive is not going to win the pageant.
I'm going backstage.
Yeah. 4 is the debate and choice of commitment. Scene 11 is this film's debate and choice of commitment. Think of this moment like the scene of Aragorn and the council deciding what to do, combined with the moment when Aragorn charges the orc army. Richard and Dwayne try to convince Cheryl to stop Olive from going on stage.
What's up?
I don't want her to go on.
Olive overhears her father and brother debate with her mother.
It's too late.
No, it's not too late. You're the mom, and you're supposed to protect her. Look, she's not a beauty queen. She's just not.
After listening to Richard and Dwayne, Cheryl gives Olive the choice.
If you don't want to do this, that's okay. We gotta go.
And Olive chooses to go forward with her performance. This is the choice of commitment. And we're walking to what the family believes is complete and total embarrassment.
Good luck, honey.
Notice how the stakes have been set up for the climax. Just like in Lord of the Rings, where it seems like Aragorn is going to his death, Olive is doing the same thing. But instead of death, it's total public embarrassment. The arrow has been drawn back. Everything is set to pay off. And now we go into the climactic sequence. The 5 through 7 happens in one unbroken scene. 5 is the want achieved. Olive performs on stage. This pays off Richard's want at the 2, where he begged the pageant official to let Olive compete. Notice the family had no idea what Olive's performance was going to be. Only Olive and Grandpa knew. This performance is Olive acting within Grandpa's view of the world. 6 is the surprise problem. As Olive performs, people throw insults and leave. The family's worst fears are being realized. Frank stands up and supports Olive. Then Richard stands up and supports Olive. But his support is still weak. He hasn't fully let go of his belief that your public perception is more important than private life. Notice that he still looks around the crowd, nervous about his decision. When Olive throws a ribbon at the pageant official, she springs into action and tells the host to get Olive off the stage.
Get over here! Get over here! I want that rag of us all this thing. You make go get her right now! Right this minute!
This is the real surprise problem. The family knew Olive might get embarrassed, but this is on a whole new level. The host tries to pull Olive off the stage. Everything shifts towards public perception winning. The host is going to pull her off stage. Richard runs on stage, embarrassing himself and Olive even more. The pageant official yells at him.
Get your daughter off this stage right now! Now!
7 is the climactic choice. This is the highest moment of drama. Richard now has 2 options. He can drag Olive off stage, holding to his belief that your public image defines you, or he can choose to support his daughter, letting go of his belief and embracing the view that your family and private life are more important than your public image. This is where Richard arcs. In the 4, the choice of commitment, he was against Olive going on stage. Now he is faced with the same choice, but much more intense. And in the climactic choice, Richard chooses to dance with Olive. Everything shifts towards private life winning. Frank runs on stage, Dwayne follows, Cheryl jumps in, and the family dances on stage together, finally unified. 8 is the change. New character status quo. In the new character status quo, the family is barred from ever entering a Little Miss Sunshine pageant ever again.
That you never enter your daughter in a beauty pageant in the state of California ever again. Ever.
I think we can live with that.
In the beginning, the family wanted more than anything to have Olive perform in the pageant. Now, they couldn't care less. And we watch them leave the pageant, hopping into the VW bus one by one like we've seen many times in the film. But this time there's a new sense that it doesn't matter what everyone thinks of them. They have each other, and they're proud to be together. Let's recap. First, a climax is a choice. A story is about 2 worldviews in conflict, represented by characters who battle out this conflict by making important choices. And a climax is the biggest story-defining choice that resolves the conflict between the worldviews. Number 2, strong final act equals strong climax. Number 1, character status quo. Who and where are the important characters? Number 2, want established. What is the main character's goal? Number 3, inciting problem. What is the problem standing in the way of the hero's want? Number 4, debate and choice of commitment. What choice is made to solve the inciting problem? Number 5, want achieved. How does the main character get their goal? Number 6, surprise problem. What surprise problem destroys the character's progress? And number 7, climactic choice. What immediate choice is made to solve the surprise problem? And finally, the new character status quo. How is the story world changed after the climactic choice? If you made it this far, please leave a like on the video, hit that subscribe button, and thank you very much for watching.